Hello family, I'm Robin, I'm a real alcoholic.
Hey, Robin.
I want to welcome everyone to the Atlanta Step of Society book study. Change your thinking, change your life. Remember my motto, change your thinking, Robert, and watch your life change. Alright, let's open with a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer. Serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This week we're going to study or start to study step 11. It probably will take 2 weeks. Alright. You know, we've been working on step 10, and that took 2 weeks. And step 10 is really a step 4 through 9. Alright. You get into a confrontation or something happened, you want to do step 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 immediately. And what you're trying to do is not allow negative stuff or resentments or things or fears or bad sexual conduct or sexual thinking to pile up. You don't want it to pile up. What you do want it to do is to get rid of it. But you have to, I think with a lot of practice of doing that, I learned real fast that I was making a lot of 10 steps. I was doing so many 10 steps in a day, I just became nothing but a 10 stepper. And that wasn't cool. I realized real fast that it had to be some changes, because I can't just go through life apologizing all day long. I felt good about apologizing, but that can't be my life, because I'm apologizing because some stupid stuff I done did. So if I correct the stupid stuff, I don't have to do a 10 step all day long. And that's what I became aware of. So I was still out of balance. And then I started working more and more on myself. And I tell people all the time, I just left a meeting with veterans, all veterans. And I was telling them I was a veteran and this and that, and we were talking, and I was telling them, you always gonna have to work on yourself. Do not think that you're going to be able to come into this 12-step program, work the 12-step, and then you in utopia or heaven. It's a continuous process of working on yourself. It never fails. It never fails. Every time I get ready to do a book study, it never fails. I find myself in the midst of the negativity that I'm going to talk about tonight to make it positive. That makes sense? If we're talking about resentments, I'm going to be resentful that day. So I have to clean house with myself in order to teach the class. It never fails. No matter what we're talking about, I have to live that prior to getting up here. And that's just the way it is. If you can look at the page, the bottom of page 85, this is still in the 10th step. It says, we have begun to develop this vital sixth sense. I think that after we get through steps 10, 11, and 12, because I don't want to really break the sequence, then we'll go back and look at some concepts that make sense. Like sixth sense, prayer, meditating, because those are concepts that take a whole class. That makes sense. Or if y'all prefer, we might just take a pause out one day and do it, because those are not things that you really want to sit down and do in 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm not prepared to do it tonight anyway. I'm just not prepared because I want to do it right. I understand it for me and where I'm at in my prayer life, in my meditating life, but in order to teach it, it'd be hard for me to come where I am now, because I didn't start where I am now. You know what I mean? Right. I want to get it so everybody can get an understanding. I went to the internet and I looked up some stuff, and I said, you know what, I'm going to have to put together a class for this, an hour class just on this alone. You know, we talked about the sixth sense, We have 5 senses, and I want to correct it because I did feeling and touch last week when it's sight. We have 5 senses. We can see, we can hear, we can taste, we can smell, and we can feel. But in our program, we developed a 6th sense. We're blessed to have 6 senses. And what they're saying is that if you go and study it, it's a world of nothingness. It's a world where God creates from. When they came up with the law of attraction, they really hit it. They broke it down where everybody can have a good starting point. That makes sense? To get some kind of understanding about this world that's invisible, this spiritual world that we all live in, that we all dwell in, and it teaches how to tap into it and use it to apply it in our life. We do not only live in a physical realm. There is a spiritual realm also, an invisible realm that where everything comes from. There is nothing you can think of. No CD, no DVD, no book, no shoe, no glasses, no hair, nothing. It all comes from there. The beautiful human imagination is the working tools of God. God uses that in order to create the world. You can go, and that's why I said it's going to take a long time. You can go and read Genesis 1. Everything was created. Everything was created. Then you go right to Genesis 2. It says in Genesis 2, wasn't nothing on the earth. Nothing. But we read where the animal came, the birds came, heaven came, the stars came, all this came. Then Genesis 2 said there was nothing. Because God had not created man, or formed man, not created, formed man to do the work. Then he reached down in the dust and blew the breath of life in man. Bam, stuff started happening. It comes through us. We're the living temples. That make any sense? He just used his imagination. Then he said, I'm finished, I'm resting. It's done. Now we need man to take it and make it happen. I heard some guys talking today, they were 100% right. I heard it ain't been 10 minutes. If you want a job, create a job. Create it. God gave us the 6th sense, the ability to create. You can run around and fill 1,000 applications out that you want to, but you can create. The choice is yours. One called hell, the other one called heaven. It's all between you right here. But the bottom line is we do have the ability to create. We was talking about different countries. When I was in Korea, I seen more people creating jobs than I ever seen anywhere. You go overseas, I mean, little old lady, 99 years old, was selling boiled eggs on the side of the street. If you walk by and you can't see, they see you looking in the you know, looking in the window or reading something, and you blink like that, they create some glasses instantly, boy. I got you. Go out and make them glasses, go right back, put them on your forehead. You know what I'm saying? Because they are creative. They are creative. Artists, people who draw and music, they use the creative ability of God. It's all being able to appreciate our creativity, our 6th sense, and we go in and we tap into it. We lock on to something. We keep the faith. That's what I mean by walking in faith. Whatever you desire, lock on to it. Don't let it go. You get up in the morning, keep it. I got this. I am this. Don't let it go. Don't let it go. Don't tell nobody either. You tell somebody, they're going to say, oh, you ain't going to be able to do it. You ain't got that. That's the weeds Jesus was talking about. You ain't got that. Don't tell them nothing. Just hold on to it. It has no choice but to materialize. It has no choice. Or the whole thing's a lie. But we haven't been taught that. We're going to learn it tonight. That's how it all happens. Everything you see on that corner, I imagine, resurrected from my imagination. I still see the driveway paved nice and black. Somebody told me, the people gone. I ain't say how I'm going to get it black. I ain't say who we're going to do it. I don't have to worry about none of that. I don't have to worry about how the tar going to get out there, who putting it out there, when they're going to do it, and why they're going to do it. That's not my business. That's God's business. My business is to see the driveway full of tar and hold on to it. All the other detail, that's a power greater than me. That's my sixth sense to do that for me. That makes sense? I don't have to do that. I don't need that melodrama. I don't have to do it. Relax. Take it easy. I'm telling you what I know. Down at the bottom of page 85, it says, but we must go further, and that means more action. We're at the end of step 10, and they tell you still got to do some more work. You still, but they did cross over into spirituality. You still have to do more work. Let's start where it says step 11.
Step 11 suggests prayer and meditation. We shouldn't be shy on this matter of prayer. Better men than we are using it constantly. It works if we have the proper attitude and work at it. It would be easy to be vague about this matter, yet we believe we can make some definite and valuable suggestions.
All right, step 11 suggests prayer and meditation. All right, there's a lot of form of prayers. A lot of form of prayers. You got the gratitude prayer, the petition prayer, the suggestion prayer, the intercessory prayer, the worship prayer. It's a lot of form of prayer. But basically prayer is communicating, talking to God and listening to God. We're going to do an hour class on prayer alone. Prayer alone. But for me, I think I like to just pray for others. Right? If I'm praying that you receive a blessing and I hold on to it, even if you don't know it or not, it doesn't matter. That makes sense? You don't even have to know. And then when you get it, I got it. You don't have to know. I always pray from the end. I see it happening. And I try not to never lose faith. I think about Abraham, you know, and he had a wife named Sarah, right? And God promised them a child that's going to start everything. Going to have more children than the sand you can count on all the beaches. Indefinite amount of kids, and they're going to have the nation and all the blessings, and people going to bow down to them. It's going to be big. He was in 100. Still ain't had no baby. Now he went and did a little side thing with Hagar, right? But that's because they kind of lost a little faith. But then they got back on track. He was 100 and she was 90 years old when they had the child. But then you go over to Hebrew, they never lost the faith though. They believed that they were going to have that child because of the promise that God had gave them. They never ever stopped believing. They tried to hurry it up. They tried to hurry it up, but they kept the faith. They stayed locked in on that till it happened. And it did happen. And what the first child name was? Right? I mean, we laugh now. But the point is this. They never lost the faith. They never lost the faith. 100 years old still thinking they're going to have a baby. Now after 30, I knew I wasn't having no more. You know? There's no way I'm going to keep it in the hundreds. But I can give you experiences from me by praying from the end. I told you I had up here, can I tell you, somebody who's been around, I had a white Escalade, white Chanel watches, and what else? Something else white. I wanted 3 things. The Escalade, the Chanel, his and hers, and something else. And I locked it in. And I had a lot of stuff. I had a vision board. So I was all over the place. And my wife got mad with my vision one day and just tore everything down. She wanted the wall. She wanted to paint the wall. I'll take all this stuff down. But she left that up there. Every day, this is true. This is my prayer life. And it's a lot of different prayers. Every day, at night when I go to sleep, I would see myself in that car. I had to feel it. Remember that, Sheriff? I had to feel it. I had to feel myself. See, if you're going to work in the 6 senses, you cannot just talk it. You got to put a feeling in it. You got to make it real. I would feel myself in that Escalade, and I asked myself, what kind of feeling can I put in there to make it real? My mind said, the smell of bacon. See, everybody different. But I can tell you right now what bacon smell like. I know bacon. I know what bacon smell like. You know what I'm saying? So every night before I go to bed, I would get in my Escalade. I'll go by McDonald's right over there and roll the window down and tell them, give me a bacon biscuit in my car. I smell that bacon, I go to sleep. I wouldn't tell a soul. I go to sleep. I go to sleep. I got up one morning, just out the blue. I said, I'm going to get my Escalade. My wife said, what Escalade? I said, I'm going to get an Escalade. I didn't come to work that again. I went on up there to Maryhill, got a Maryhill card play, walked in and they told the man I want a white Escalade. They said, we don't have one. I had already walked a lot. I didn't see one either. I said, I want one. The owner of the place, after they told me they didn't have one, the owner pulled right up there, that car. It had dealer plates. I said, there one. I could see out the big window. They said, no, that's the owner's. I said, no, that ain't the owner's. That's mine. I own that. You go, damn, who it is? Say dealer. I went right over there, and they followed me and said, you can't talk to him. Yes, I can. I went right over there, told him I wanted that car. The man asked me, he said, that's my car. But he kind of like admired my faith. You know what I'm saying? He said, what you do? I said, I'm the president of the Atlanta Step Up Society. He said, step up. My wife donates there. That was the door. Ding! Make a long story short, I drove out with the white car. Pulled right in the driveway and blew the horn. My wife was excited. I said, you can go and get your Escalade. I mean, what she had, a little expedition, and I left it up there. They didn't even want to trade it in. They didn't even want it. I left it. I said, yeah, I ain't going to take it today. I'm getting my new one back to the lot. To make a long story short, I believed it. Right after that, the watches and everything came. But my point is, if I could do that for me, I can do it for others. That's faith. See, I never lost the faith that I was not going to get that car. Right now, people having medical problems around me. I don't see them sick. I see them healed. I go and I have a desire to see them healed, and I talk to them and I allow them to tell me that the doctor said that I'm okay, everything's all right. They don't know I'm doing it. My prayer life has changed. Did I start out with a prayer life like that? No. I was just, my prayer life began like that. God, I'm just grateful to be clean sober today. That was it. Please don't let me use. That was it. I didn't mature to that level. That came out to the steps and reading and studying and listening to other spiritual people and the preachers on church, at the churches and stuff. I developed that kind of a prayer life because I didn't understand what faith was. Nobody really told me what faith was. They told me to have faith, but they didn't break it down. I can have faith in something. My faith was about as far as 20 steps would take me. I got faith in this. Now, I hear one. Let me show you how strong my faith was. I have faith that the 12-step program worked. So when we said the Lord prayer, I got 10 feet from y'all. My mind said, get a bill. That's how much faith I had. I didn't have faith in the people. I didn't believe none of their work. I was at my second AA. No, I had like 30 days. They had a celebration. A guy celebrating 3 years. He was up there. No, I'm talking about prayer. He was up there and he was saying he hadn't had a beer or no drugs in 3 years. His family was there. His kids was there. His mother was there. His wife was there. I'm sitting in the back saying he's a lie. I'm going to meetings and saying he's a lie. He might not have no crack because he had on clean clothes, you know. He didn't look like he did no crack. But you could not tell me somebody could not drink a beer in 3 years. I didn't believe that one. So, but I said I believed the program worked. But I didn't believe that you can go 3 years without a beer. That made no sense. That make sense? That didn't make no sense to me. I was willing to not do the crack, but I thought I could have me a beer. Then I started seeing people have that beer. Take them out. Then I kind of came to believe that maybe a beer ain't that good either. You know? So it's a process. That's my point. It's a process. It's a process. All right? Meditate. We're on page 85.
86.
No, on prayer and meditation. I'm on page 85. Now, y'all on 86. I'll be there in a minute. Because we're talking about prayer, right? Now we got to say something about how to meditate. Then we're going to do an hour class on this. I just started sitting down in the morning, trying my best to quiet my mind. That wasn't working too good. Then I got some books. Still wasn't working too good. Because my mind always had, it was something I needed to do. I needed to get up. Then I tried at night. When I first got my breakthrough, is when I went to a Zen type church. I don't think you can call it church. It was a meditating place, and they met like 3 times a week. And I went on Sundays at 11 o'clock. It was really, really different. You had to have on a black t-shirt, some sweatpants or something, if you wanted to. That's what most people wore. And you go in there, might be 30 or 40 people, and you go in, you get comfortable, you sit on a chair. I sit in the chair. Some of them were real good. They caught their leg, you know. I just used the chair. But it was okay. And they have a scripture up there, one scripture. And you'll read the scripture, and then everybody sits still for hours. So nobody say a word. Nothing. You just sit still. Meditate on that scripture. They ring the bell. Dong. Get up. Put your donation in the basket. Put your clothes on, you leave. And that was my type of church. Wasn't no preaching. Wasn't no basket. You know, just quiet. And I enjoyed that. I did that for a long time. And I enjoyed that. That gave me such a breakthrough to know that, because even though I wasn't fully getting it, I was making an honest effort. And the people around me, they seemed to be serene and at peace. And when they walked, they just looked like they was at peace. When they spoke, they were polite. It wasn't like y'all. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing like y'all. It was quiet and calm. I enjoyed it. And I went for a long time. And even now, I really do seek a better meditating type life. And then I look at people who are very successful, like actors and all this, like Russell Simmons and them, you know, they all meditate. They all meditate. Now my ideal is one day to have me a nice place on the beach in Florida, sit down and enjoy nature, just enjoy meditating. And I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get that farm too. I like turtles. Give me some big old turtles. Just watch it walk around and meditate. I almost had me one. Lady pulled right up here in the back there. Was on the animal shelter. They had found a turtle. It was this big. They showed it to me back there. I said, hold up. Called my wife. She said, you can bring it home, because I got a yard. And I imagine putting a big pan in the thing in the ground. You know, I had a big old bucket thing I was going to put out there, run the water hose to, just let that turtle live. Then right down the street, right in the back, go down a dirt road, is a creek. And I'm thinking about putting a dog. I had all this imagined. Put a dog collar around the thing and walk around. I had it all worked out. I was ready. I told the people they got a call to go somewhere. And then the lady came back with the truck. I said, where's my turtle? Because I did want to got my pickup truck to put it in the back of my pickup truck. I was in the Escalade. Couldn't put no turtle down. I went and got the pickup truck and came back, and they met me here. I said, where's the turtle? It was gone. I mean, they sold it to a man for $50. He gonna kill it and eat it.
Dinner.
That was the end of my turtle. They sold it. But it worked. It worked. It just wasn't ready for me yet. We shouldn't be shy on this matter. Let's get back to the book. I'm just giving you a little examples, you know, to let you know that we are, that the 12 steps is not something you just read, it's what you actually really do. That's what my point is. You really do it. Whether I do it my way and you do it your way, we just got to do it. There's no proper way in spirituality. It's all inclusive. You know, it says that we shouldn't be shy on this matter of prayer. Better men than we are using it constantly. It works if we have a proper attitude and work at it. You know you got to have the proper attitude. You got to be humble. You can't be arrogant. You know, meek. You know, the Bible, when we start studying prayer, it's going to talk about the attitude. And work at it. You have to practice this. Prayer and meditating take practice. I read what some of the yogas and some of the people who do real spiritual meditating, to get to that enlightenment that we all are trying to seek, it takes years. Some people do this for 30 years before they get there. Sit still and really obtain this enlightenment. And I'm not trying to discourage anyone, because every day gonna make a better day for you. But I believe this, and that's why I say we all have to work at it. One thing I do believe, that the Spirit of God is in everything. The energy level or the spirit of life is in everything, or we wouldn't be here. You know, it baffles me to know that I was underwater. I told y'all that my mama womb for 9 months. And then come out here and I'm here. You know what I mean? It baffles me to see an ugly little caterpillar go in a cocoon and turn into a beautiful butterfly.
Do you think that caterpillar knew it was going to be a butterfly? Or the butterfly said, look at the caterpillar and said, I ain't one of you. You know? But the thing about it is that it's such a beautiful thing now to me, because I don't have all this negativity. I'm not observing the life or observing the outside world in a negative atmosphere no more. I got a new pair of glasses on. You know what I'm saying? I like those Discovery channels where I saw this little, it's the same thing, it's a caterpillar that lives like in the desert. But in order for this caterpillar, no, it was ice. It lived in an ice environment, frozen environment. The caterpillar takes 14 years to eat enough in order to make the transformation from caterpillar to butterfly. Take 14 years. So it was freeze over. The caterpillar would literally die in the ice. Shut down. You know what I'm trying to say? The thermostat is whatever, just shut down. Then when it melt, the little green grass come up, you gotta eat, boy. Die again. 14 times in order to get enough energy to make the transformation from caterpillar to moth or butterfly. Once it turns into the butterfly, it ain't got but 2 days to make, then its life is over. It's over. It had a purpose. It had a purpose. Some way, if God's will was in there for that entire transformation. Salmon. The salmon that we go and give me grilled salmon. Salmon in a can. Croquettes. Salmon this, salmon that. Did you know in Alaska, it might be 1,000 streams? Maybe more, I'm just using the word, number 1,000. Every salmon born in every one of those streams, when they're born, they return to the sea, stay exactly 3 years, and come back to the same stream that they were born in, to the same spot, spawn and die, and start it back for eternity. Eternity. How do they do that? Smell. They know how they stream smell. We human beings, we got that same genetic code in us. God put it in each and every last one of us. We have a purpose here to do His will. That's His will for them. It's in us too. But we also have the freedom of choice. I ain't going there. We supposed to go to the left, I'm going to the right. That's the only thing that sets us apart is the freedom of choice. But it's there and it's asleep. It needs to be awakened. That makes sense? So you have to work at it. It would be easy to be vague about this matter. We can't be vague. We got to get real now. Yet we believe we can make some definite and valuable suggestions. Let's keep going.
When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. Were we resentful, selfish, dishonest, or afraid? Do we owe an apology? Have we kept something to ourselves which should be discussed with another person at once? Were we kind and loving toward all? What could we have done better? Were we thinking of ourselves most of the time? Or were we thinking of what we could do for others, or what we could pack into the stream of life? But we must be careful not to drift into worry, remorse, or morbid reflection, for that would diminish our usefulness to others. After making our review, we ask God's forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures should be taken.
All right, let me say this. There is a sheet that's specifically made for the 11th step that's around. I don't have it tonight. And I called a couple people and they don't have it. But it's what we do at night and what we do in the morning. Y'all seen them? We're going to get it. And it basically is the same thing that's what these questions got. It's just not in a paragraph form. It's a check, like a yes and a no side. All right. This is a deep, 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 deep paragraph. We're going to break it down. This is not a fly-by-night paragraph. This is a deep one. When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. Let's look at that word retirement right before we get ready to go to sleep, right? Everything is finished. I'm going to bed. I'm going to retire. If you eat, let's say, me and Wayne talk about this all the time. If you eat a big old meal right before you go to sleep, can you physically retire? No. If you're on an empty stomach, or not a big meal or whatever, light meal or something, when you lay down, your organs can relax. But if you got a full meal in you, when you lay down, your organs got to go to work to process it. So you're not retired. You've been to go to work. A lot of medical diseases is attached with that one. People talking about, oh, you snore at night. Yeah, you just got to eat a steak sandwich. Go snore. Hey, that's what you do. I know. If I go eat a big old damn, my wife said, don't even come in here. She already know. It don't work. You gonna snore. People talking about you live in the house, oh, he snore. He just ate Popeye chicken. 11:30. 4-pack and 3 biscuits. He gonna snore. His organs is trying to work. That makes sense? Instead of retire. We constructively review our day. Constructively means serving to improve or to be helpful. So when we go through our day, when we're going back and looking at our day, we want to do it in a helpful manner. Okay? Remember that. A helpful manner. You don't want to look at your day and get depressed. You want to do it in a helpful, encouraging manner. What I learned to do, and this is just another skill that, because I like to stay in the now. Anybody talk to me know that it's kind of hard to talk to me. They think I'm kind of arrogant or something. But I'm not. I don't have a lot of time for people's problems. Because I don't think you need to be in your problem yourself. So if I ignore your problem, maybe you would too. I'm not thinking about it because I don't see you in your problem. I see you in your solution. But that takes practice for me. I had to practice that. Because I lived in the problems too. And that's the workplace you want to live. Always problems. So you cannot have a problem. The only way you can ever have any type of problem on the planet is because there is a solution. A problem just don't hang out by itself. What it means is there is a solution. Am I right or wrong? Right. That don't hang by itself. There cannot be a problem by itself. There is a solution. Alright, so what I do is I try to take my day and work it backwards to stay in the now. Train your mind to stay in the now. How do I do that? When I leave here and I go to work, go to lay down at night, I just got through talking to the wife. I just got through looking at this on TV. Before that, I drove from the store. Now I was at the store. I closed down the store and I had a conversation with Ken and I talked with Anthony about the day. Then we closed the store. Before that, I was up in the computer and I was working on the computer for 6 hours and I was doing this and I was doing that. Prior to that, you know what I'm trying to say? I worked myself backwards. I train myself to see it for everything from the end, from the backwards. Alright, that's just a technique. Alright, so that's how I can constructively review my day. If I try to do it from the bottom coming up, I forget a lot of stuff. It's harder to do it from the bottom. Well, I started out this morning on my way to work. It was the traffic. Damn. That's it. That's about all I'm gonna get. You know, and that's why it's good to have that worksheet. That's just another tool to help you constructively review your day. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Because you can look at it. I used to keep it on my headboard in my bed. And I would look at it before I go to bed, and I put like a yes, you know, a minimum yes or a no. And that helped me constructively review my day. Alright? And these questions are on it. But if you don't have that, you can use these questions yourself. Were we resentful? Was I angry at somebody? Pissed off at somebody? Was I selfish? Dishonest? Or was I in fear, afraid all day? There's two types of fears, temporary fear and continual state of fear. Was I in either one of those two? And I answered the question. Alright. Do we owe an apology? Do I need to apologize to somebody? Have we kept something to ourselves which should be discussed with another person at once? 9 times out of 10, that's going to be a yeah for us. Were we kind and loving toward all? These are just questions that you ask yourself. You can start this tonight. What could we have done better? Were we thinking of ourselves most of the time, or were we thinking of what we could do for others, of what we could pack into the stream of life? These are questions that you ask yourself. Let's just take for instance, this is a real one. Since I always work with others in recovery and have a recovery, treatment center. Let's say somebody relapses, and it happened, and I'm doing this work and I'm going over it, and all these kind of questions where I love and kind and toward all, probably not. I probably said some bad words to them. What could I have done better? What I'm thinking of myself most of the time. I would ask these questions. And if you're working with others, you got a sponsee, or you got something that's going on like that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a little bit of guilt or some shame going on. Am I right or wrong? You're going to feel guilty, and you're going to feel shameful, and what can I have done better, and all this kind of stuff. All right? You start feeling guilty. Guilty. Now, keep that in mind. Am I right?
Right.
You start feeling sad. You don't probably feel like you don't let somebody down because that was your sponsee, or that was something you're trying to help them say they lied. They went out and you probably said some bad words or something happened. Start feeling guilty about it. All right. This is what I want to get to. But we must be careful not to drift into worry, remorse, or morbid reflection, for that would diminish our usefulness to others. Another example for me, like I promised my mother I'm going to come by the house and do this and that. My mother's old and has some medical issues. I get in my car, I start heading home. In my mind, it said, you promised your mother that you're going to come by the house. I tell my mind, I have to do that later. I'm going on home. She be all right. But wait, when I get home, I don't feel good about that. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I did promise her I was coming. And I didn't go. I broke my promise, which I've been doing most of my life anyway, breaking promises. So there's another one. So I don't feel good about it. It said, but we must be careful not to drift into worry. We don't want to go to bed that night and worrying about stuff. that we probably could have done better. Remorse. Remorse means, we did this in the earlier steps, right? In the illness and the disease concept. Uncomfortable feeling from a sense of guilt and regret for wrongs done. If I don't go and see my mother and I promise my mother, I'm going to be in a little bit of remorse. But I'm going to have this feeling of guilt and regret that I did her wrong. I didn't even call to tell her I ain't coming. She's still sitting up waiting on me, and I know I ain't going. And don't make no attempt to call. So that will put you in a remorse situation. Right or wrong, I told you it's going to get deep. Or morbid. Morbid means gloomy, inspiring of horror and intense fear. We could have done something throughout that day and been real fearful about it. Stole something. You know what I'm trying to say? Done some harm to somebody that's so bad that you can't sleep because you're afraid it's going to be found out. You can be in guilt. You can be in fear. You can be worrying about something. This is at night before you go to bed. So that would diminish our usefulness to others. After making our review, we ask God forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures should be taken. I'm going to tell y'all something. That's very deep for me. If I'm worried, if I'm in fear, forget about the night, because this happens 24/7. If I'm afraid, I'm worrying about something, I'm full of guilt, am I effectively working with others?
No.
No. No. If I'm always worried about my finances, am I able to help others?
No.
Am I always worrying about bad conduct? Am I able to help others?
No.
What's the other one? Am I always, it says reflection, concentrating on this, mental concentration on this fear and this gloomy feeling. If I'm always gloomy, never happy, life did me unfair. There's 7 billion people on the planet. For some reason, they done isolated me. You know what I'm saying? Done made it unfair to me. How can I help somebody? It tells you right here. For that will diminish your usefulness to others. You got to get up out of this. You can't have them low type feelings, those low vibrations in you all day long and talking about sponsorship. You need to call a sponsor. And it shows in everybody around you, your whole life, it reflects it. People feel them low vibrations from you. If I come in here all gloomy and stuff, don't you think everybody in this company not gonna know it? It makes everything gloomy. It's vibrations. We live in vibrations on a plane. They go from lower to higher. I told y'all David Hawkins, if you start fear and death and all that, it's very low. And you go up. We got the principles, you know what I'm saying? They start going up. You start feeling courage, and you start feeling some faith, and love, and all the way up to bliss. That's what Jesus was up there. But AA, the program of AA works on maybe on the 400. All these feelings, resentments, and all this stuff is below it. But let's say AA right here. I don't want nobody to be fooled. And you come into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous and you do 90 days. But you ain't did no 12-step work. You're not working on yourself. But you feel good. You feel hopeful. You feel motivated. And you ain't working on yourself. All you feeling is AA's level. That's what AA is. By being in a meeting, you done adopted. AA done adopted you. You were homeless in your feelings. Now you've been adopted. You've been put on AA. But I guarantee you, if you don't do no work, you're going to go back down. And y'all know what's down there. You're going to relapse. AA operates on a 400. AA operates on a nice little vibration. But it belongs to AA. That's the fellowship. That ain't you. When you walk out that door, you're going to go right back to where you are. That's why 90 and 9 is important. So you can feel better, so you can come up, you know what I'm trying to say, and be on that vibration. Then you can go as high as you want. Don't stop there. The more people get in there, start feeling good, and then they get a car in a relationship, they gone. That's what it is. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because you never worked on yourself. Never worked on yourself. I heard one, I heard the most unbelievable one I ever heard in my life. We had a guy in treatment not too long ago. He's in the treatment center. He wanted to pass. Most people want to pass to go home to see their parents, you know, or family. He wanted to pass to go on vacation. I said, yeah, he wanted to go to Florida. I ain't gotta say no more here. How you going to the treatment center? I've been between 20 years. I ain't never heard nobody go to the staff and say, I want to go on vacation. Relapse. That makes no sense. I can understand a little pass to be around your family, but not no vacation. I had 4 years clean. I even thought about a vacation. I didn't even know you can take them. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to stay in meetings. I was addicted to meetings. I was afraid to take a vacation. Alright. But we don't want to have, I'm speaking to people that working with others, because we in the 11th step now. By now you sponsoring somebody. You know, your life done changed. And you starting to feel these bad feelings and they walking around with you, you are not effective for nobody. And it tells us exactly what to do about it. It said, after making our review, we ask God's forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures should be taken. What can I do, God, to help me get up out of this gloomy situation? To get up out of this lack of situation? To get up out of feeling guilty all the time? In this morbid reflection, always reflecting on negativity. What can I do, God? Can sit still and meditate. Because when you're like that, you already know you did something to get in it. Sit still. The answer will come. That's what meditating is for. That makes sense? We don't want to return. See, that's the beauty of this. Is it's not a jail. We don't want to return back to a 10-step. But we apologizing all day. That makes sense. I don't want to keep going back and apologize. I want to sit still and let God give me some new inspiration about me. A new likeness in me. Let the light come on so I don't have to do the 10-step no more. I'm in the 11-step. Hell, if I want to feel fear and worry and whatever, with all the few of them, guilt and intense fear, I just keep doing the 10-step. Running like a park gate. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't want to keep doing that. I need to sit still, meditate, find a real spiritual solution, like you said, that's intuitive now, that I can rise above these problems, and I ain't got to keep going back to them. The answer is in me. The answer was in those fish, those salmon. The answer was in that little caterpillar that took 14 years. All he wanted to do was reproduce, keep his own little mouse living for eternity. The answer, or the code, or the message, or the spirit, or the Tao, or the Ching, or the Chow, or whatever you want to call it, is in you. We have to practice this stuff. It might be a little flicker, but that's okay. Better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like a little light. It's kind of similar, 2 minutes, right? Kind of similar like a little baby being born in a manger. That's in you. And the little baby came out of you. And it had to grow. Got some gifts from some wise man. But it had to grow. But it was born in you. And it grew and grew, and then it started working and stuff, like the book saying. This little baby got to be like a teenager, maybe like 12 years old. You can do this kind of stuff. And then the people come and say, where are you at? What you doing? I'm doing my Father's will. It's in us. It's in you. It's in me. I have to sit still and know that God's there. And once I get the answer, I can move this stuff out the way, and now I can be effective to be. Thank y'all for a good meeting.